All right, welcome back, Crime Fighters. Time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up the bad guys. I'm Chris Wright, along with John Garlick, the Chief Deputy from the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you, Chris. It's been a wonderful week. We had, let's go to the count. Look at that. 8 people arrested last week, brought to justice because the citizens of Calhoun County called and told us where they were. 4,351 people since we started this.
Great job, folks, and we'll have some more folks that we need your help finding here in just a few minutes. We'll get to the lineup in just a bit, but first, let's talk about something that I'm sure most parents are concerned about. Any parents watching that would like your kids to grow up and be productive members of the community and earn a good living?
Raise your hands.
Yeah.
Very good.
A few of them out there are interested.
I saw
in
them
that.
all.
We've got the Worlds of Work event coming up here soon at the Oxford Civic Center, and I've actually had the chance the last few years to go and be a small part of that and see what's going on. And you get about 8,000 school kids. So parents have probably heard about this event. We got, I think, 8th graders through 11th graders that come and participate in this from all over East Alabama. And they get to meet up with people from the different industries that are actually hiring and find out what jobs there actually are that they can work towards being qualified for.
It's a great program. A lot of law enforcement's there. We're there. Fire departments are there. Bunch of other industries are there. So it gives you a really good look at the world of work.
And for the last few years, it's been very successful. Thousands of people coming in. But the one thing that that's been missing is these kids would go home and tell their parents about this, and the parents have some questions that they don't get the answers to. So this year, they're adding a new element to the world of work, or Worlds of Work, and they're going to invite parents to come down for a few hours.
Outstanding. That's great.
So if you want to be part of this, it's going to be at the Oxford Civic Center. The part that the parents are invited to, you can see it on your screen there now, Wednesday, March 13th from 2 until 5. So parents, you can go down there and see, and who knows, maybe even some parents can find a job.
Sure, why not?
You'll find out about different employers in the area and maybe clear up some misconceptions about different job opportunities that your kids might be interested in, and actually see what's out there for your kids and talk to these people with the kids.
Right. I mean, learn what it takes to get an actual job.
Yeah.
You know, your kid can graduate from high school. What skills does he need to go and start earning a paycheck? Because it's somewhat easier than you think.
All right. So, again, that's going to be on Wednesday, March 13th from 2 until 5 at the Oxford Civic Center. And we hope that a lot of parents will come and get, again, 8,000 students are going to be there throughout this event. And we hope that we'll have a great participation from parents as well. All right, we need to take a quick break. We will be right back with the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up on our lineup this week, Michael Pitts. Mr. Pitts, last known to be living in Jacksonville. He's wanted for failure to pay on possession of marijuana second. And we'd like you to meet Michael Smith. Mr. Smith, last known to be living in Ragland. He's wanted for failure to pay on robbery third. And this is Joseph McDonald. Mr. McDonald, last known to be living in Roanoke, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana second and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And please meet Stephen Singleton. Mr. Singleton, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for a probation violation on possession of a controlled substance. And this is Edna Ford. Miss Ford, last known to be living in Huntsville, she's wanted for failure to appear on receiving stolen property. And last up in the first half of our lineup, Ho Hu Wen. Mr. Wen, last known to be living in Lawrenceville, Georgia, is wanted for failure to pay on possession of marijuana first. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, we'll have some more bad guys in just a few minutes. John, you can read, can't you?
I can.
Congratulations, very good.
Thank you. Can you?
I can.
I know you do. You read for a living.
I do, as a matter of fact.
And you talk for a living.
Yeah. Very important skill, and it's not just important for all the things of getting jobs and such. Reading and reading to our kids and such is very, very important for lots of different reasons. And Jessica Smith is joining us from the United Way to talk about one program that a lot of us are familiar with that really, really helps with getting these kids reading early, doesn't it?
Yes. So Imagination Library is one of our biggest programs that we run at United Way, and it focuses on childhood literacy, getting those kids ready before they start kindergarten, whether it be recognizing colors, shapes, anything, just to sit down and read to show how important that is to them for their life.
Yeah. And so these kids, when they sign up for the Imagination Library, they start receiving books on a regular basis. A book will actually come to the home, and parents have got a book to read with their kid, or the kid to read to themselves.
Yes, they actually, if they sign up when they're born, they will get a total of 60 books from birth to 5. Like you said, one book is delivered each month to their home, and those kids get so excited about when their toddlers go into the mailbox and finding mail with their name on it.
Mm-hmm. And this is not a program that you have to qualify for financially and say, well, I only earn this amount of money so I can qualify to get this is open for any kid.
Yes, no matter your socioeconomic level, we just want to put books in kids' hands. It costs United Way, is serving as the champion of Imagination Library, $30 per child per year. You can't go to Books A Million or anywhere and buy 12 books for $30,
Right.
So much less have them delivered to the child.
Yeah, we go out and buy books for William. He loves reading. He's got a voracious appetite for books, which is great.
Yes.
You know, you go out and start buying those, and you know, it's that money's out in a hurry. So something like this is extremely helpful for any family to be able to get those in there. And like I say, there's a cost to the United Way. We associate this with Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and we're not selling her short. She's done a lot.
Yes, Dolly
to
is
make
amazing.
this happen. But she doesn't stroke the check for all these books.
Correct. United Way, like I said, serves as the champion here in Calhoun County for that program. Without our partnership with Dolly Parton, we would not be able to have that program here in Calhoun County, but it does cost us $30 per child per year. Currently, there are 3,002 children in Calhoun County enrolled in Imagination Library.
Wow. All right, so doing the math on that,
Wow.
that's more than I make in a week.
Wow, yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure we have some people that are helping to fund that, and you've got a campaign going right now to
Yes.
get people to sponsor a child, right?
Yes, we are doing a Give 30 campaign just to sponsor one child for a year. Like I said, it's called Give 30. You can text Give 30 to 50155, and that will give you the opportunity to sponsor a child today. We're
cool.
running that campaign in coordination with Read Across America Week. So last Friday was Dr. Seuss's birthday, and we will be going into classrooms reading this coming Friday. So we're running that campaign through this week.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about the additional benefits of reading. And in general, we all know that there are the benefits, but what are some of the specific reasons why this is so important?
Just to have those kids ready for kindergarten. So many of your kids now start kindergarten and have no baseline of knowing how to write their name, knowing what colors are. And just if a child gets a book, parent may not be sitting down and reading it to them, but if a child's flipping through that book, they eventually pick up on stuff and start learning and preparing themselves for kindergarten.
Well, reading is, a parent reading to a child bonds that relationship. It helps the child learn, gives the child a foundation and a confidence of acceptance. And then they have to learn to read in school. You've got from maybe pre-K all the way up to 3rd grade to learn a bunch of stuff, and most of that learning is hands-on. Mm-hmm. But in 3rd grade, you're transitioning to learning by reading. 4th grade, you've got to be reading in order to be learning. And it's so vital. The younger they start, the better they are at reading. It's a muscle. You got to keep reading to stay good at it.
Yeah. And then also, of course, they always talk about how the kids don't come home with a manual. And most of us adults are pretty good at talking to other adults. But when it comes to communicating with a child, we don't always know exactly what to say and how they take that information. These books are written by people who know how to communicate with a child, and we're able to use those pictures and words that they have worked very hard to create and start painting those pictures and giving that information to the child with our own voice and helping them learn so many things.
Dolly actually puts a reading hint in the front of her books that gives the parents tips on how to read that specific book to the child, how to engage the child in that book.
Very cool. All right, we need to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a second and have some more information about this and how you can help. And we'll also have the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Martin Watson. Mr. Watson, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property third. And meet DeAngelos Woodgett. Mr. Woodgett, last known to be living in Jacksonville, he's wanted for non-payment of child support and failure to appear on child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And meet Robert Waddell. Mr. Waddell, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for a probation violation on throwing a deadly or dangerous missile. And this is Desmond Gant. Mr. Gant, last known to be living in Dothan, he's wanted for failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And have a look at Terry Savage. Mr. Savage, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation violation on domestic violence second. And last up for our lineup this week, Taylor Grenfell. Mr. Grenfell, last known to be living in Gadsden, he's wanted for a probation violation on aggravated child abuse. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you know the whereabouts of these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 256-238-1414.
All right, welcome back again. We're going to get into some property crimes here in a few minutes that we'll need your help solving. But right now, we are talking with Jessica Smith from the United Way about the Imagination Library, and these kids are getting books every month from birth to 5 years old, and opportunities for the parents to read to them. And it also gives an opportunity, anybody that picks up that book, when you've got aunts and uncles coming into the household and other people, they can interact with the kid as well.
Yes, and in coordination with our Give 30 campaign, we celebrate Read Across America every year. And this year we are sending 116 volunteers into 116 pre-K and kindergarten classrooms in Calhoun County to read to them and encourage childhood literacy.
And then what I also love is when the kids turn around and they read to adults. My mother-in-law right now, she's living in an assisted living now and progressed to that point in her life. And William, he's older than 5 now. He's 12 years old now. But going down there and opening up a book and him reading to her,
Nice.
She gets a lot of joy out of that, and he gets a lot out of it as well. And I was actually just reading a story about an elementary principal in Texas who has on Tuesdays, tucked in Tuesdays, 7:30 every Tuesday night, she's in her pajamas and gets on Facebook Live through the school Facebook account and reads bedtime stories to all the kids in her school.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's interesting.
How often did you see your elementary school principal in her pajamas?
Never,
Or his?
never, and I was in his office a few times, but he was never in pajamas,
Yeah.
thankfully.
But she says that they'll come to school the next day. I saw you in your pajamas and all that. But it's connecting and it's making a difference.
Anything that can connect these children to just a love for reading so that they can progress in life, so they can attend that worlds of work and decide what career path they want to go on.
All right, so again, the campaign that's going on right now, we're trying to sign up 150 donors, is that right?
150 kids sponsored in this week time span, which is a total of $4,500.
All right, so but for each person, we're asking
$30 would sponsor one child for a year.
Wow. And how do we do that?
You can do that by texting Give 30, all one word, to 50155, or you can visit our website at www.uweca.org.
Or if somebody just wants to bring a check by the United Way
Yes.
office, I'm sure you'd be glad to take
Or
it
you
there,
can
too.
just bring a check by, and we take credit cards as well.
Oh, and where's the United Way office?
The United Way office is located at 1505 Wilmer Avenue in Anniston.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Jessica, thank you for being with us here.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right. You didn't bring a book to read to us?
I didn't.
What a shame.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
didn't think I'd have time.
Okay. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back. We'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show. We'll talk about some property crimes that we want your help solving, and we will also have our Crazy Criminal of the Week next on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to help our investigators with the following cases. First up, on February 15th, around 1:30 a.m., a maroon-colored semi-truck entered a commercial facility and stole a trailer with a load of steel beams. This theft occurred on Meadow Lane in Oxford. And your second and last case this week, on February 21st, a Mustang deck lid was stolen from a body shop on Valley Cub Drive in Alexandria. A Chevrolet Silverado was seen on surveillance around 10:55 p.m. And that's it for the Crime Stoppers portion. If you have any information on these cases, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number, 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
John, you ever get involved in a chase where it gets interesting, somebody running away?
Yeah.
Yeah, some fun things can happen with that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And some scary things. We had in Australia, this burglar was noticed and somebody called the police. The police got there in time to actually spot him, and so a chase ensues. And they're running after the guy, and he sees this 6 foot tall fence that he needs to get over to get away. So he climbs the fence and over, but unfortunately for him, his underwear got caught on the top of the fence.
Okay.
So as the police catch up to him, he's got a giant wedgie and is hanging upside down from the fence by his underwear. I wish, sometimes we have pictures to show you, and I searched and searched and could not find a picture of this one, unfortunately.
He was just hanging out.
Just hanging there.
That's funny. It's a testimony to the strength of that underwear.
It is. It should be used in a commercial for the underwear.
It should be.
It would also be a good example of don't let your pants sag down below your underwear.
Yeah. Don't do that. I thought you were going to say he jumped the fence and there were like a bunch of kangaroos there boxing into a corner, but you know.
I think he probably would have preferred the kangaroos.
He probably would have. There's no telling.
Bad things happen when you run from the police.
They do. Well, they probably have a choir in the jail over there. That'd be good for him.
Yeah, you can probably hit those high notes now.
He can sing tenor. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so we're closing in on the end of the show. We thank you for joining us as we do here every Tuesday night. And then the show gets repeated a few times throughout the week. But if you missed the beginning of the show and you didn't get to see this week's lineup or part of it, if you missed any part, you can always watch the show in its entirety on YouTube, and you can find that video by going to the TV24 website, tv24.tv, and go to the on-demand section there and look at Calhoun County's Most Wanted, or you can just search for Calhoun County's Most Wanted on YouTube. But we also encourage you to check out our Facebook page. Follow us on Facebook for the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. We post the lineup of individuals on there each week, and also our Crime Stoppers list of property crimes. It's all there for you on Facebook. So
Lots of information there.
Yep.
Civilian firearms classes.
Weather information,
yeah,
all kinds of good stuff.
Statistics, all kinds of cool stuff.
Follow it. All right, that's all the time we have. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup or hanging upside down by your underwear on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.